Hey guys, welcome to episode 13 of Shift Your Health.
Whoop, whoop.
My name is Jackie Becker.
My name's Paige Poo.
And together, guys, we are PJ. Today, we're not going to be debating, which I know you
No
guys
debates.
love. Okay, I know
We thought
the
we'd have a
debates.
nice normal conversation for once.
Yes, and it's something that I think is so important. And I think it's something that is so overly looked. And today, guys, we're going to be talking about mental health, but more importantly, strategies that either we're both implementing or strategies that we found with current clients that are working. Because I know this is a question that I get asked. I get asked a lot, but it's something that's so overly looked because we don't ever work on this big thing up here. We just, smash the nutrition, smash the exercise, but it's always important to make sure our mindset and our mental health, guys, because there's a lot of things that can go wrong.
Definitely all starts with the mind as well.
It does, because at the end of the day, starting a program, guys, if you had poor mental health, you probably wouldn't start, so like having that first initiative is always does come down to your mindset. But I was just telling Paige, I recently did a live call in our Facebook group, so make sure you do join that. But it was literally about this, guys, and there's so many different things out there. For me, one of the really big ones that I always like to do is like journaling. And I said this to the ladies, it doesn't necessarily have to be, like I'm not writing a paragraph each day, but I always assess my day. I do it every morning, and I assess my day previous, but also write my goals down. And I just, I usually give myself a scale of like on 1 to 10 of how productive, or it's not always about how I feel, it's more about my productivity, but it could be for you guys on how you feel.
Yeah.
And the reason I like that, and that's not, realistically, it's not officially journaling, but it's my way.
It's your way.
Yeah, it's
and
my
I
way
think
of doing
that's
it.
so important because I think everybody sees, okay, journaling equals this.
I used to think
And
it was
that's
so
the only
weird.
way.
But I did.
You know what I'm saying?
I used to think it was very weird. Like I used to think like, why would I want to write like a paragraph?
Who wants to do that?
Yeah, literally. And I said this
I
to the
know,
ladies.
it's overwhelming. Like,
Yeah.
nobody, I personally, I'm like that. Like, I don't want to sit there and write paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs. And I love that strategy of going, okay, how was, like, for me, mine's a bit different. How was my day? What do I rate my day out of 10? How was my sleep? How was my stress levels? And how was my nutrition and training?
Mm-hmm.
And then you can start to like collect, I tell this to our ladies, you literally are collecting data on yourself and seeing any patterns. Like, okay, hey, I notice when I've had a really stressful day that I tend to binge eat, or I know when I don't get much sleep the night before that I really struggle with energy that day. So it's just really kind of pinpointing those things and using it.
It's why tracking is so important. I know this is a little off topic, but like tracking your nutrition, your exercise, all these things, because then if something does not go to plan, you can look back. Where if you don't track, I know when people come to us and they're like, oh, I'm putting on weight. And I'm like, well, let's look at your nutrition. And they're like, oh, I haven't tracked it. Well, like, I don't know what you guys are doing. You could be smashing takeaway. Who knows? But, and it's the same with your mental health. That's the one I'm trying to get at. Not to go off topic. It's like, if something's not going to plan, it's, looking back and assessing that. Another really big one that I like to do.
You're going to say mine.
What is it? What's your one?
Movement.
No, I wasn't going to say that. Big one for me is I love to listen to motivation. Now I said this on the live call, guys, is there's so many ways to do that. I just do YouTube. I just literally go in, write like pump up motivation or just motivation, or if I'm struggling with something, I'll write that title. Usually comes up with something pretty good. There's like a Calm app, which I know you used to be really big on.
Love it.
Even just listening to music can be really good. I know that sort of what I found is it puts me in like I call it my like ideal state to start my day. So I usually do that after that I do my journaling. I sort of go into that, but that's what I've always found has worked really well for myself.
I like those. No, I really like those suggestions, and I think for me massively it's movement. Like I know as soon as if I'm in a really bad space mentally and I just need to stop for that moment and I just need to go for a walk. Like getting out, moving my body, even if it's just for 5 minutes, like literally that motion changes my energy. And
100%.
And I think that kind of, from what you said, and even that for, movement for me, the biggest thing I love and the strategy that's worked really well with my ladies with mental health is, I call it my happy list. So I literally have it on my phone. It's a note on my phone, and on my happy list will just be a list of all the things that make me happy.
Love it.
And I might have different sections. So I might have things that make me happy that take me less than a minute, and then things that make me happy that take me half an hour. Like, for example, on that list, pat a puppy. Like, I've never patted a puppy and been sad after patting that puppy. Like, I've just been full of joy.
Yeah, love that.
You know, I love my first sip of coffee. If it's my special coffee, that's literally on my list, is go buy a special coffee, go for a walk. So I'm just building up that happy list. And I really tell my ladies to check in with themselves and go, hey, I want you to reflect on your whole life and just think about all the things that make you happy, whether it's your favorite song, whether it's writing down your goals, whether it's listening to motivational music, like whatever it is, everyone's list is going to be different. And I think that's what's so important. So the happy list.
A happy list. I think that's a great little tip there, guys, because, you know, at the end of the day, there's so many things you could do, and I'm sure we could probably talk for a very long time about all these, you know, different things. One thing I always like to add, and I said this on the live call again, was just like changing your environment up. So I know Pei sort of spoke about that, which is like going for a walk. You know, it could just be seeing sunlight, you know, things like that. Like just changing your environment.
Watching the sunrise, watching the sunset.
That's been Paige's goal. She never.
Hey, I do it, but when I do it, I feel so good.
You
like,
do, yeah.
so good.
Yeah,
I'm
like it's,
wow.
You know, but that change of environment, especially like, you know, if you're really stressed at work and, you know, your boss has just given you something that's ridiculous and, you know, or, you know, you work in emergency and it's just been crazy hour, you know, back to back, you know, that change of environment, like getting out, going for a couple minute walk or sunlight, which I know is not always possible.
Doing a lap on the ward.
It can help. Like, it, you know, once again, it's just shifting that mind. That's why I like music and, you know, change of scenery it will shift your mindset because, you know, you're like shocking your body in a way, you know, which is always really, you know, really helpful. But I'd love to hear, like, if you guys have, you know, any tips, you know, outside of what we've sort of, you know, spoken about that, you know, that might help you, because I know there's so many. I know when I did the live call, you know, there were so many suggestions, albeit that they're all, to be honest, albeit they're all very similar. Because obviously there's always going to be overlap, but like I've never heard of the happy list before, so that's a cool little suggestion.
Yeah. I guess one thing I did want to add to that though as well is I think straight away if we're feeling down, sometimes we try and go straight into fix-it mode. You know, I think that's really common.
It's very common for humans, yeah.
Very common for humans, and you know, something I don't think a lot of people talk about it or say it, but I really think it's important to firstly sit with that emotion. Like, am I feeling sad? Am I feeling overwhelmed? Am I feeling stressed? Sit with that and let yourself feel it, because otherwise that's going to come up later on again. You know, try to like not understand it, because that's, you know, I guess analyzing it, but actually just sitting with that emotion and going, okay, I'm stressed. I'm going to sit here with this, and then, you know, working towards a plan of attack after you've felt that emotion.
You know, and I'm sure she wouldn't mind me sharing this, but like Jade used to be a builder, so she would build her emotion up. And what we found was that, you know, we would end up causing a problem down the line, and then it wouldn't even be the problem that she's getting annoyed at. It was because of something happened a month ago. You know, where, you know, Jade and I had now been together 11 years, and it was something we continually work on, you know, because that's a common trait. People build emotion, and then it ends up, there's always going to be, there's always going to be a point. It could be that day, it could be a month's time, it could even be a years down the line. You know, and I always think dealing with it then and there, that's me. I would rather deal with it the second it happens, but, you know, once
sometimes
again,
it takes time to process
it does take time, and there's no right or wrong to that.
Yeah.
You know, it's what works best for that human, but it's also being aware of that problem, and at least, you know,
maybe being open to sharing it with like a loved one as well, I think is
which
important.
is hard. That is very hard.
Yeah.
You know, especially if it's someone very close to you, because, you know, it's uncomfortable. It's, you know.
We do not like uncomfortable conversations
like us
as people.
humans were, you know, we like to stay in our little happy place.
Yeah.
But it's it's not being afraid to talk about it, and talking to someone about it. Doesn't have to be, you know, going to that person directly with that problem. It could be talking to a friend, colleague, your parents, etc.
Therapist. Ladies, there are therapists out there that really help, you know, and they can have a very non-biased view as well, because I think sometimes loved ones bias, right?
Exactly. They want what's best for you. So it's like those non-biased views can always be, I think, very helpful. I know that's definitely helped us. But guys, that was a lot. That got deep there in the end. I love it. But I really hope you guys got something from today. You know, mental health is something that I know both of us, you know, hold very closely to our hearts. And like I said, please, if there's anything that we missed or any tips or tricks that you have found that has helped you as a shift worker, please join our Facebook group, guys. Shift Your Health. I'd love to know the answer because I know there's so many different things. I just learned something today, the happy list. I think that's a great suggestion to recommend to clients. Or if you're
Might
not,
even post my happy list in the group.
if you're not, join the bloody
There you
Facebook
go.
group. There you go. Paige is going to drop her happy
I'll
list.
leave it with ya.
This is where something you can, the things that you're doing. It's where collaborating together can allow others to, learn what is working best for you. But guys, that's going to be for episode 13.
Yep.
I nearly said 12 then.
I know, I was thinking.
Episode 13. Next week, guys, he probably will be back to debating because I like debating.
We love it.
And it's
We
fun.
do love it.
Okay, guys.
All
PJ
right,
out.
PJ out.
Bye.